Hi there and happy November. Welcome to the Des, Sits, and Knits podcast. My name is Destiny and I live in Arizona with my husband and our 3 kids, age 4, 2, and 7 months old. This is a podcast where I mainly talk about knitting. However, I did sew several things last month. I'm going to be going over all of my October makes, and I was very productive last month. I cannot believe how much I finished. Some of it is sitting behind me. I am wearing one of them. I will talk about this one last, but oh, I'm also missing one because one of them was a gift. Wow, I made so much stuff. What the heck? All right, well, we're just gonna jump into it. I also have a few acquisitions, which is rare for me, but I went to a yarn shop a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I picked up a few things because it wasn't a yarn shop local to me. I had never been there before, so I did splurge a bit, but I'm just gonna start grabbing things. I don't really know what to start with. I think I'll grab this. So, like I mentioned, I have 3 kids, and if you are new to this podcast, I do make a lot of stuff for my kids. I really love making my kids clothes. It's kind of the whole reason I got it started into knitting, because I wanted to be able to knit my kids their own little bonnets for winter. And my youngest is already growing really fast. He outgrew all of his little baby knits that I made him, and so since we're eventually going to get cold here in Arizona, I wanted to start prepping his wardrobe for the fall and winter. And so I cast on this little pair of ribbed pants. I started these on the last day of September because I had finished all of my other works in progress, and they are just some basic little rib leggings. I made the pattern up. I took the cast on number from a different pair of pants that are DK weight, but they fit very different, so I went down multiple sizes. I think I cast on about 100 stitches, give or take a few, and I just did a 1x1 rib for a few inches, and then I did some eyelets. I switched to a 2x2 rib. I did, I think, 4 rounds of increases at the gusset, and then I split for the legs and just knit till I ran out of yarn. I had made my youngest son a Marseille sweater by Petite Knit, and it was a nice light creamy color, and I did a blue stripe in it, so I used the blue from that in his pants so that he could wear them together and they would match. I think they turned out pretty great. They fit him absolutely perfectly, which I was a little concerned about. And since I was out of blue, I just used that same like off-white color for the I-cord. And they fit great. He wears a cloth diaper, and so they fit over his cloth diaper perfectly. They're super stretchy, and I couldn't be happier with how they turned out. I can't remember what needle size I used. It was probably a 3.5 or a 4. Maybe it was smaller than that. Maybe it was a 3.25. My gauge is my tension's pretty loose, and especially when I'm doing ribbing, it's extremely loose. So I definitely went down a few sizes, but the yarn I used was a cotton yarn. I used King Cole Cotton Soft DK. I can't remember the color. It's just a blue color. And this is what I had left of it. So it wasn't a full amount because I had knit some accents in a dishcloth over the summer using the blue, and then I had knit a few stripes in his sweater with it. But I'm happy with the length. I think they look pretty perfectly, and I knit cotton since it is so warm here. I didn't want him to have wool pants that he could only wear for a short time, so I thought if they were cotton, he could get away wearing them in like the transition seasons, and maybe even through the summer if they still fit him. He is growing very fast. These took me quite a long time to knit, but not because they were time consuming, because of how I was knitting them. So I knit the entire top part in one night, super fast, sped through it. And then I split for the legs, and like I mentioned, I was going to run out of yarn, and so I wanted to make sure they were both the same length when I ran out. So I was knitting the legs 2 at a time on tiny circular needles, and that was horrible. I did not enjoy that experience. So what I ended up just doing was just dividing the ball in half and then using probably magic loop, I think, to finish these up. And then it took me a night. So the way you knit matters, and I always forget that, and I think I'll just force myself to push through this, but I really want to enjoy what I'm knitting, what I'm making it. So I'm glad I just switched it. But yeah, these are them. I don't think I have a picture of him wearing them, but they are very cute on, and they look very cute with his little Marseille sweater. So that is my first finished object. What is my next one? I think it is these little booties, so let me grab them. I knit Wilder some little booties. These are made in that same cream color that his Marseille sweater is, and the I-cord for the pants. It's just a King Cole Cotton Soft DK once again. I was planning out my youngest, his name's Wilder. I was planning out his fall and winter wardrobe because he is growing very fast and he definitely needs a few more pieces. And I wanted to make him some little booties. And I wanted to make him some that were like the knitwear brand Misha and Puff. They are a kids knitwear brand that is very, very expensive. I cannot afford it myself, and they sell these booties and they're quite overpriced, and I thought, hey, I'll just try to make it myself. So this is how they turned out. I'm going to knit them again and make a few adjustments, like definitely decrease quite a bit on the ankle because it is quite wide. They are very, very cute on. I'm totally happy with how they turned out, and I think I might take some time and sew a sole onto the bottom of it because my son is 7.5 months old, but he's already very close to walking, and he stands up all the time just in the middle of the house, and I don't want him to be slipping. I don't really see myself putting these on him very much when we're home. They are mainly going to be for when we're out, but just to be safe, I think I'll add some soles, and I'll probably again knit him a new pair and make a few decreases in the ankle. But they're really cute on, and I do kind of like the fact that they're wide because then they fit over his knit pants really well, and there's enough room so it's not too tight. These were a really fun knit because my friend Becca has been learning how to knit, and she was like, oh, I want to knit some booties, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to knit Wilder some booties. And so we did them together in like a night, and it was just really fun. It was like a tiny little knit along, and we would text each other progress pics, and it was pretty special because I don't have anybody local to me that knits in my area, so it was just over text and sending pictures, and it was really fun. So anyways, this is what I came up with. I took the cast on number from a different pattern again, and then I just kind of went my own way, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. I don't know, I think they're cute. They look really cute on him. They fit him pretty perfectly. He has large feet, so I was a little concerned, but they're pretty perfect, and they match his sweater and they match his pants. And what more could you want? I honestly cannot remember the needle size I used on these, and I apologize, but there they are. Second finished object. All right, what's next? These were very fun. Let me grab them. So Halloween was a few days ago. 2 days ago, it's the 2nd. And we are vegan. We are plant-based, so we don't eat animal products. And because of that, I do a switch witch basket for my kids since they can't have the traditional candy. I get them a little basket and I put vegan treats, some special items in it, some books for them to have after their trick-or-treating since they can't have all the candy they've just gotten. And so I wanted to make something to put in their switch witch basket. I'm trying to make something for each special holiday for them, so they always have something handmade for me. And so I made this little acorn pouch for them. This was the first one I made. And it is just a little drawstring pouch in the shape of an acorn. It has the most beautiful little leaf. Wait, this way. I don't know. I'm kind of far away. I hope you can tell. And then it opens up and they can put their stuff inside. So me and my friend Emily were making these together as a little acorn knit along. So cute. I didn't have any worsted weight like balls of yarn in my stash, so I had to just use a few scraps I had for making beanies for Christmas last year, which is why this one is multiple colors because I didn't have enough for like the solid color leaf. But this was a pretty cute pattern. I'm gonna just say it's not very functional. The I-cord does not hold it closed, and it's a very big gaping hole on the side. So if you're actually wanting to use this to carry stuff, I would just caution you. This was the first one I made. I used some Quince & Co. Lark worsted weight, and then this is Knitting for Olive's Heavy Merino for the top. This one is Quince & Co. Lark in the color Honey, and then this is some Drops worsted weight, and this is Quince & Co. as well. Like I said, these are all just leftovers I had. And for the second one I made, I was trying to adjust it so that this actually like was a functioning drawstring and it would hold it closed. So because of that, I knit 2 I-cords and kind of split the top. I don't know if this is making any sense. If you go to my project page, you might be able to maybe have a better picture of it, but I wanted it to be more functional, and I messed up my cast on number. It's fine. It's for a 4-year-old. He's not too picky about it, but I will just say if you are planning on knitting that pattern, you might want to make a few modifications, but it is a very cute little acorn. I think it's pretty adorable. Like I said, I knit 2 because my baby obviously is not old enough to really care about Halloween or trick-or-treating, so he did not need one. But when he gets a little bit older, if he wants an acorn pouch, I've got him. I will make him an acorn pouch. Pretty cute. Huh? These were super fast. I knit one in one night and one in another night. They were just a quick palette cleanser, and I really enjoyed them. And my friend Emily made a super cute one too that I really liked, and we were talking about how we were very, very close to going out and buying special acorn yarn, but we did not. We just used stash, which was nice. Okay, I'm going to take a drink quickly of some lemonade. My sister got me. Okay, the next pattern I'm going to talk about, I knit 3 of. I call this the Teddy Trilogy because I knit 3 of the teddy bear sweater by Petite Knit, because that's just what happens when you have 3 kids. They all have to have one. And all of this stuff I cast on sometime in October and cast off before the last day of October, other than the blue pants that I first showed you because I started those on the last day of September. When I say I got a lot of knitting done this month, I got a lot of knitting done. So let me show you. I had knit a Friday v-neck slip over months and months ago. It took me forever, and I did not like the way it looked, but I loved the yarn. And I just kept looking at it, and I was like, I've never worn this. I'm not gonna wear it. I kept trying it on, trying to trick myself into liking it, and I just didn't. It was knit in broken rib, and broken rib irritates my wrist more than anything else. I don't know what it is, but my wrist does not like it. And then I was thinking maybe I'll just make it a long sleeve sweater and just keep the body, because I spent 2 months working on it, but in the end I just didn't want that garment. So I frogged it, and I cast on the teddy bear sweater for my youngest. So this yarn is Knitting for Olive Merino in dark ochre, and then Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in ochre brown. And it's just held together. I knit a size 9 to 12 months for him. He is, like I said, 7.5 months old. It fits him amazing. I love the look. It's this nice oversized sweater. We use this to take pictures at the pumpkin patch. I'll try to insert some. They look super cute. I love the way they turned out. My sister took some really great photos, and I'm just in love with this sweater. So the gauge on it is pretty loose because I was literally ripping from the Friday slip over and just knitting straight into it. I didn't like wash it or anything. It was pretty kinky. I think the gauge is great though. I like how loose it is because I don't really need something super dense here in Arizona. And it's so soft and so nice, and he's worn it so many times. And this pattern is my new favorite raglan, or just sweater in general for kids. I tend to get pretty obsessed with the sweater pattern, and I knit a bunch of them. So last winter I knit one from one of my favorite kids knitwear designers, and I knit like, I think I've knit 7 of them now. And then I got really into the Marseille sweater. I've knit 3 of those, and now I'm into the teddy bear sweater, and I've knit 3, and I plan on knitting at least one more, but probably even more than that. So it's a really great raglan. I love the fit of it, and I think it's super nice. So I don't really know if I have much to say about this. This took me a few days to knit. Super fast. It would have been faster if I hadn't been ripping from... I was like frogging while I was knitting this, and that definitely slowed me down. But yeah, a great raglan if you are looking for a sweater for kids. I did not put the teddy bear face on it. I was going to, and I started to, and I had like the nose embroidered, and I was like, this looks strange, I'm ripping it out. So I cut it off. But so soft. I want to knit my daughter a fluffy purple one, but there it is. I don't know how much I used. I think I had 2 balls of the merino and 2 balls of the soft silk mohair in that vest, and I used definitely less than that. So there's another finished object. Then I was like, oh my gosh, I need to make another teddy bear sweater for my oldest son. And I had found this cotton yarn that was red and white, like twisted together. And his favorite color is red, and he always asks for red sweaters. And I was like, I don't really know how many red sweaters this kid needs, but guess I'm making another one, so I did. However, the yarn was worsted weight, and I did not have a pattern for a worsted weight sweater, and I was like, I'm just gonna finesse this and make it work. So I cast on another 9 to 12 month teddy bear sweater, and I went up in needle size, and it ended up being the perfect fit for my 4-year-old. So like I said, this is a 9 to 12 month teddy bear sweater, and I looked at numbers from a different kid's sweater that I had in Aran weight, so I kind of knew like a guesstimate of what my cast on should be and what the body stitches should be, and I picked the closest one to that in the teddy bear sweater, if that makes sense. And I actually really love working with cotton yarn. This one knit up faster than the other one, just because it was a single strand and it knit super nicely. So here it is. I do kind of want to make some modifications to the neckline. If I'm brave, I might cut it off and like re-knit it and tighten it up a little bit, but he loves this sweater. It's super soft for him. He finds wool pokey. I don't necessarily think he has a wool allergy, because he can wear wool fine, but sometimes when I put it on him, he's like, yeah, this is a little pokey, but then he just goes off and plays. So I thought having a nice cotton sweater would be perfect for him. I knit, like I said, the size 9 to 12 month, but I knit the lengths to the size 5, and I have a picture of him wearing it. It looks so cute. Yeah, I'm really happy with the sweater, and he loves it. And then I was like, well, if I made one for 2 of my kids, I've got to make one for the 3rd. So I went to a yarn store up in Prescott, Arizona, and it is called Fiber Creek, and it was an amazing experience. I loved it so much. I do have a yarn store local to me, and I really enjoy going there, but they don't necessarily have the brands or the colors that I gravitate towards, whereas up at Fiber Creek, it was very me, and it was very hard to not buy everything. I had already been planning on knitting my daughter a teddy bear sweater, and so I had grabbed so many yarns, I kept putting it back, I wasn't sure what to get, and then I thought, I'm just gonna pick one for a teddy bear sweater for her. And I picked out some mohair, and it was so beautiful. It looked just like the Grand Canyon. And I had bought 2 skeins of it because they were, I think, 50 gram skeins. And I had originally planned to make her a hat. And then as I was caking it up, I was like, you know what, actually, I'm just gonna go for a teddy bear sweater and hope I have enough. I tried the first teddy bear sweater I had on her because she is 2.5. And the 9 to 12 month actually fit her really cute and really great. A lot of the sweaters I've made her are kind of bigger and oversized, and so I wanted to make one that was more fitted so that she could wear it easier under dresses and overalls. And the 9 to 12 fit her pretty perfectly, so I decided to knit another size 9 to 12 month teddy bear sweater, and here it is. So I used Sandusgarn Sunday in the color Camel, and I held it with a strand of this mohair, and it just knit up so nicely. I do have a little bit left of this mohair, so I think I'm gonna make her a matching beanie, and I love it. I think I went up a needle size. I think it calls for a 4mm, and I used a 4.5 because I already had my 4mm needles on a different item. And I also wanted it to have that looser gauge like the first teddy bear sweater I had knit did, because it was all like the yarn was very strange. So I sized up to 4.5 millimeter. I think it turned out great. The only modifications I made in these sweaters, and I made it in all of them, is I don't do decreases down the arm. I just do a round of decreases right before I start the ribbing. So I think for all 3 of them I did knit 2 together, knit 2 together, all the way around the cuff, because that got me to about the number I was supposed to end up with if I were to follow the decreases down the arm. I like a straight sleeve better personally, and it's just more mindless for me because I really love knitting sleeves, but when I have to count and keep track, I don't enjoy the process as much. So I've just been primarily doing straight sleeves and then doing a quick decrease once I've hit the length I want and I start the ribbing. But I hope that this is an accurate look at it. I can't really see the camera. You're kind of far away from me, but I have pictures of her wearing this and I will try to insert them if editing works out for me. Do I have anything else to say? I don't think so. I'm really glad I'm working through my stash of the Sunday yarn, because I've been sitting on this Sunday camel yarn since I think April or May, and I've used it for so many projects because I had bought a sweater's quantity for me and I didn't end up wanting to use it in a sweater for me, so I made a dress for my daughter out of it, suspender pants for my youngest, and now I've made this sweater and I'm very close to being done with it. I have another project on my needles using it, so we're very close, but that is the Teddy trilogy, if you will. Okay, we are almost done with knitwear items. I have 2 left. So, I wanted to knit my little guy a beanie because he outgrew all of his baby beanies. And he's not a bonnet person. I'm not a bonnet person. Truth be told, bonnets really freak me out. I don't like the idea of having like something tied at my kid's neck. And I just prefer beanies. I think everybody has a different preference, but I'm definitely a beanie person. And my friend Emily had knit, I think it's called the Pip beanie, and it was so cute, and I was like, I need to knit one of those. So it did call for worsted weight in the pattern, and I wanted it to match his teddy bear sweater, so I did a fingering with the mohair, which came to about a DK, and I just knit him a little Pip beanie. I think I cast on 80 something stitches, and it's a 2x2 rib, which is my favorite rib. I just really prefer that. And it is the cutest beanie I've ever made. Winnie fights over this, my daughter. She loves this beanie. She wants one just like this. So with the rest of the mohair from her sweater, I'm going to knit her a little beanie whenever I have a moment. I have a lot going on right now, so there's that. I can't remember what size needles I used, and I'm really bummed about that, but I'm gonna say it had to have been 4 millimeter. That's just gonna be my guess. There it is, the cutest tiny beanie. Okay, now we are on to, I think, what is my last finished object for knitwear, and then I'll show you some things I was sewing. So, I'm wearing it. This is a colorwork sweater, and this is called Hello from My Colors by Jessie May Designs. I was not planning on making these. Oh, I forgot about something else I knit. Okay, I'm gonna pause for a second. We're gonna have to take a quick detour and talk about something else I knit. So, let me pause the camera real quick. About a week or 2 into October, my dad was like, hey, how fast can you knit a beanie? And I was like, why? It was my cousin's birthday, and my dad was sending him a bunch of clothes, and he was like, can you knit him a beanie real quick? And I was like, ooh, I guess I can try. I really enjoy knitting beanies actually, so I didn't mind at all. But I wanted it to be a special beanie, and I didn't have any yarn that I thought would work great for a beanie in my stash. I mainly have fingering weight, and to knit a beanie I prefer to use a worsted or an Aran weight. So I thought I'll do stripes or something, and then I decided to try colorwork because I have never really done colorwork before. I've started a few colorwork projects and I always frogged them, mainly because they were socks, and I have a really hard time focusing on socks. In case you're wondering about my orange stripy sock from 2 months ago, I still have not finished the second one. I'll get there. I decided to knit him a colorwork beanie. I can't remember what the pattern was called. Let me check. So I found a free pattern on Ravelry, and I kind of finessed it. I didn't necessarily follow the charts. I picked just one chart and I put that on, but it was the Winter Wonderland hat by Mary Pranica, and like I said, it was a free pattern. And I knit that beanie in basically a night. I cast it on, did most of it, and then I just had the crown shaping to do in the morning, and I finished it real quick, blocked it. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I didn't get a picture of it blocked, so the picture I have is still a little like squished together and kind of strange, but as it was my first colorwork project and I thought it was pretty great. I did have to catch quite a few floats, which was obnoxious and I'm not very good at, but I figure as I am more experienced in colorwork, I'll get better. After I finished that beanie, I really wanted to try something else, colorwork. And I was watching a podcast from the Love Stitch Knits, and she had finished this top, and she used Knit Picks palette yarn, and I had a ton of Knit Picks palette yarn in my stash that I had bought in May, and I have just been sitting on it thinking, what am I going to knit with this? And I was thinking of knitting a beanie, but I don't really want to knit a fingering weight beanie. And when I saw that she had used the same yarn, Knit Picks palette, I was like, okay, let's go for it. So I cast it on, and this is how it turned out. I don't remember the colors I used. Let me grab it real quick. I think I put it in my Ravelry. I hope I put it in my Ravelry. Jeez, my goodness. So this was my first colorwork sweater. The dark color is Bark. The light, like beigey brown, is Almond. The richer brown is Toffee. The yellow color is Turmeric, and then the white is Oyster Heather. And like I said, I have all of this yarn in my stash. I actually have it sitting behind me. So here's the Toffee and the Turmeric and the Oyster Heather. There's Almond, and I have basically none of the Bark color left. Oh, I just have the tiniest little bit. So there they are. Let's get talking about this sweater. Let's chat. I cast this on October 17th. I finished this October 30th. However, I really wanted to keep track of actually how many days I work on it, because I always have multiple works in progress going. I don't just knit on something for a week straight and not touch anything else. This took me in total 9 days to make. It is cropped. It is short sleeve, but I feel like 9 days for a fingering colorwork work sweater, that's not bad. I knit a size large. I wanted quite a bit of positive ease. I don't necessarily like things to fit me. I feel very uncomfortable when it's like that. I wanted to make this long sleeve. One of the testers who knit this sweater, I kept going back to her project page, and I loved the way her sweater looked long sleeve, but I didn't have enough of the Bark color, and so I couldn't have made it long sleeve and matched the rest of my charts, and I opted for short sleeve. I'm really glad I did, because this is warm. I wore this on Halloween night and I was sweating. We've been having a really warm past week. It's been in the 90s even though it's November, and it's more practical for it to be short sleeve given that I live in Arizona. I do prefer long sleeve sweaters. How they look on me, they make me feel very cozy, but when I'm working with all wool, it should probably be short sleeve. But I want to make a cotton one. We'll see how that goes. Modifications. So I did a 2x2 rib at the neckline. It calls for a rolled neckline. You just knit it, and I was just a little nervous. I've never knit a sweater with that neckline, and I didn't want to get all the way through the body and then not like my neckline. So I decided to just do a 2x2 rib. I think it looks nice. And then I forgot I had done a 2x2 rib, and I bound off in a 1x1, which is fine. Doesn't matter that it doesn't match, but the rest of it is 1x1. Anyways, so what is this? The third chart, this dark brown and white one, I did mess up on. That was my bad. It's okay. Not mad about it. And then I made a few modifications. So this chart right here was supposed to just be straight lines. I didn't like the way that looked, so I broke up the lines, and I think that looks really nice. This chart right here towards the bottom is a leaf, motif, and I took that from my Lume sweater pattern by Sorry Nordland. And then the bottom chart, I just was like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing with it. I'll just put some yellow dots in there, and that's how that ended up. And I think it turned out pretty great. What else? Anything else to say? I did not have to catch any floats. I'm wearing a tank top under it, so I will just briefly come closer so you can see. So there were some floats that were about 6 stitches long. I think probably in this area there were some. In this chart there were some. But I am really happy with my tension, considering, again, like my first real colorwork project other than a beanie. I think it looks pretty great. I definitely got better as I went down. There was a lot of puckering up here. There kind of still is. But by the time I got to the bottom, it was so easy. This chart right here nearly killed me. So just this little chart, there is like 4,500 stitches around that number. Obviously I'm not going to tell you the exact amount, but this chart took me 2 days. And I realized that like just in this chart, because it goes across, like you're just in this chart is like very close to the number of stitches I put in my kids' sweaters. Just in that chart, oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna die. I was really struggling because I set goals for myself. So for that chart, I was like, all right, we're gonna finish it tonight. And I couldn't. I could not. But that's okay. I'm really in love with this pattern and how it fits, and that makes me super excited because Jessie had put a bunch of blank charts at the back of the pattern so that you can add in your own designs and make your entirely own sweater, and I have such a fun plan for that. Me and my husband watch a lot of anime, like a lot. That's pretty much all we watch. And we go to Comic-Con every year. We obviously haven't gone for the last like 2 years because of COVID and it not happening, but I'm gonna knit myself a Comic-Con sweater. I know a lot of people knit Rhinebeck sweaters, and since I don't go to Rhinebeck, I'm gonna knit a Comic-Con sweater, and I'm gonna do each chart a dedication to a different anime. I am so excited, like words cannot express how excited I am. I'm gonna have to figure out yarn choice because Comic-Con usually happens when it's pretty warm and there's like a ton of people and you're bumping bodies, and I don't think I could, like, I'd probably suffocate if I wore like a wool sweater to Comic-Con. So I was thinking of doing maybe a cotton merino blend because I think it might look nice. Knitting for Olive has a nice cotton merino. I think Sandnes Garn does too. We'll see. I'm playing with the ideas. I'm gonna drop all the charts. I've started working on them, and then once I kind of figure that out, figure out what color palette I'm gonna need, then I'm gonna get more into yarn choice. And I think I'm probably gonna knit it in a DK weight and just knit a smaller size because I don't want to knit another fingering weight sweater for a while. Okay, I think that's all I have to say. Did I talk about this sweater enough? I feel really cute wearing it. These are very much my colors. At first, I was very iffy about the yellow. I didn't love it, but I didn't have another color in my stash that I could sub with it. I have pink, red, and blue in Knit Picks palette, and I thought that yellow was probably the one that was going to fit in the best with all of my browns. But I actually really enjoy it, and I feel very pretty wearing this sweater, and I'm excited because we are going up to the mountains in a few days, and I will get to take this sweater with me, and hopefully it'll be chilly enough where I can enjoy wearing it, because right now I'm sweating for sure. Okay, is there anything else I need to say about this sweater? I don't think so. Okay. I'm going to jump into sewing finished objects, and then I will get into all of my works in progress. So the first thing that I sewed for the month of October was this bag / project bag, and this is the All Well bucket bag, and it just has 2 pockets. So the fabric I used, I don't know what kind of fabric it was. It was like a really nice cotton, almost denim material. I have a whole bunch of it in my stash in different stripes, and I just thought this would look nice. It's very large. We made the large size. I made 2. I made one for myself, one for my mother-in-law, and then my mom made one for herself. And I've been using this as like a purse / project bag. I'm not really a bag person, but this has come in handy. These are just basic like canvas straps you can get at Joann's. The pattern calls for like leather straps, but since we're vegan, I wasn't gonna buy them. But I thought maybe I could try to thrift some or search online for some faux leather straps to make it a little bit nicer looking, but there it is. I thought this pattern was super well written, super easy to follow. I really enjoyed it. I really recommend it. If you're a beginner sewer and you're wanting to make a bag, I thought it was really nice. Like I mentioned, we went to the pumpkin patch, and pumpkin patch is like my favorite thing to do all year. I wait for it, and I wanted to make it super special by making my kids their own outfits. Usually I go out and I buy the kids special pumpkin patch outfits, and I was like, why? I can just make them. So I did. Oh, I'm missing one of my finished objects. Okay, that's fine. So the first one I made was this little dress for my daughter. And she loves dresses, and I don't really have any for her because my oldest is a boy, and so I didn't have any hand-me-down dresses, and it's quite expensive to buy like nice dresses for kids. So I am on the mission to make her a bunch, and I made her this one in this really nice like green plaid. I thought it was very, very fall, and it looked so perfect on her. I just can't get over how well it turned out. I made her one the day before. I made this one that was blue and white striped with strawberries on it. I will insert a picture of that one. So I made her 2 dresses, just to pretend I'm holding 2 dresses, okay? And I think I used the pattern from Oh Me Oh My Sewing. They're on Etsy. She has a ton of kids patterns that I think are really great. I made Winnie the size 2-3. And then I made Wilder these little overalls. I cuffed them, and then he wore his little teddy bear sweater under them, and it was just the cutest look ever. Oh my gosh, like I said, I'll put in some pictures of how it looked, but oh, these were so adorable. But these are huge. So they're supposed to have elastic in the back, and I didn't put them in for a few reasons, but I actually tried these on my 4-year-old, and like the pants fit him, so I drafted him some pants off of these overalls, and I don't have them with me because he was wearing them yesterday, but they look super cute, and they were all matching, and they were wearing hand knit sweaters and hand sewn clothes, and it was a very special moment for me, a lot of pride. So yeah, those were my sewing finished objects. So I sewed 2 dresses, overalls, a pair of pants, and a bag. Okay, now we are going to get into my works in progress. So my first work in progress is behind me. I am knitting the Honey Bucket Bag by Petite Knit. Here's what I have so far. So the bottom is just flat with increases, and then you're working in honeycomb brioche along the side. And this bag is beautiful. This is about a day and a half of knitting, like 2 nights of knitting. When I say a day and a half, it's only like an hour or 2 a day. So it's not like I was working on it for 24 hours, but I have not had the time to work on this because it's honeycomb brioche, which I've never done before. And while it is super easy, it's not something I can do with my kids around, or if my husband's talking to me, or if we're watching a show. So I've only been able to work on this 2 days, and I cast this on the beginning of October. I really can't wait to have it finished. I just don't know when that will be. Hopefully sometime I can sit down and knit on it for like an hour or 2 and really get through that honeycomb brioche. I'm using Drops Flora in the color brown, held with drops, mohair in the color beige or light beige or something, just held together to make this beautiful bag. And it's actually really simple. I do not at all mind the honeycomb brioche. I was a little worried about it, but it's totally fine, and someday I'll have a cute little knit bag whenever we get there. Okay, my other work in progress. I started on Halloween. I am knitting the Stripy turtle tank. Wow, this is a disaster. I apologize for that. So I am so in love with this. I can literally not wait for this to be done because this is just so me. Like, these are so my colors. So I'm gonna come closer so you can see. I'm knitting the Stripy turtle tank. Let me turn it around. There we go. So the color, my main color is Sandus Garden Sunday in that color camel. I have Knitting for Olive Merino in Cognac Brown, Knitting for Olive Merino in Licorice, Knitting for Olive Merino in Dark Ochre, and then I have that Drops Flora in the beige color again, just to make this beautiful, beautiful stripe. Are you kidding me? Is that not so gorgeous? I'm almost done. I think I have 3 more stripes and then I'm gonna split. I want it to be pretty cropped, just to make it more breastfeeding friendly. And I feel like this in the winter with like a denim jacket on it or a flannel is just gonna be so nice. So the stripy turtle tank, I haven't decided if I'm gonna be modding it. I for sure am not gonna do the turtleneck. I'm gonna do the I-cord, but part of me wants to do a V-neck. Part of me wants to kind of make this scoop a lot lower. I might need it to pattern first. I'm really excited for this pattern because I think it's something I can get a lot of wear out of, because while I'm very much a sweater person at heart, I think that just having like wool tanks are just gonna be really practical for the winter here. And since it's pretty much all in merino, it's still not going to be super warm, so I can probably wear it into spring. And I have so much like little bits and pieces of yarn, because I don't buy much yarn. I pretty much just try to knit from stash, and I think that this would be so fun to just use up a whole bunch of my leftovers and just make a bunch of stripes. So the licorice color is from a beanie I made for my great grandma, and this is just the leftovers I have from it. The dark ochre is from the teddy bear sweater, and I also made my son some leggings in that color, and it's the leftovers from that. And the cognac brown my sister got me, and then the Sunday is just leftovers from what I've been working for the kids through it. And then the flora is from my sweater 14 that I do not have anymore. And I have like so much bits and bobs. Like I have some white knitting for olive merino that would be so cute if I made like a different color one and add the white. I don't know. I'm just very excited about the pattern and the possibilities to take that pattern. And I kind of want to knit a long sleeve version of it. I think that would be really fun. I'm knitting the size 4. I'm using the recommended needle size. I'm not sure how it's going to fit me, because I feel like when I measure for my bust size and then I knit the size like with the ease and everything, it still fits kind of strange. So we're gonna get through the first one and then maybe see where I need to make changes in the next ones I make, because I do plan on making quite a few. Is that all I have to say? I feel like I've been talking forever because I just can't stop making things, but I guess we're gonna get into acquisitions. So when I went to that yarn store in Prescott, Fiber Creek, they carried Lina magazine brand, or Lina brand, and I got the Knitting Notes journal. I have been wanting this all year. I think I almost bought it in like January of this year, and I was like, oh no, it's okay, I don't need it, but I wanted it so bad. And it was right there, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna grab it, because I'm way more of a pen and paper person than I am like a Ravelry person. I like to have things jotted down. So I'm going to be filling this journal for sure. And I just love it when they have a page with knitting needle size and conversions. They have a ruler on the page. They have an abbreviations page, and then all of your projects, and then there are places for you to write charts down in the back and yarn purchases. And I'm really excited about this. I'm not going to put every project in this one. Like I probably won't put beanies, or I might make a page just for beanies and like write down all my beanies. So for the teddy bear trilogy, the teddy trilogy, I'm doing one page for the teddy trilogy and writing down all of my notes for all 3 of those sweaters. And then I'm going to put this one in there probably today or tomorrow, but I'm very excited about that purchase. The next thing I got is from Coco Knits, and this is the Maker's Board. I saw this on their Instagram a few months ago and I wanted it so bad, and they had it there, and I was like, this is a sign. Plus I was knitting that colorwork pattern and I really needed a place to put it, so I wasn't like looking down or losing track, and this just ended up being perfect. For my patterns, I've been using the My Row Counter app for like the past year, and it's really great, super useful. I love it so much, but it's taking up a lot of my screen time. I was looking at my screen time at the beginning of October, and 90% of it was on the Row Counter app, because I would just leave it open on my phone and then I would just tap it whenever I was on another row. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't need to be on my phone that much. It's draining my battery, so I wanted to start printing out all my patterns. I prefer that anyway. And this way is just a super easy way. So it's just a board and you just open it up and there's magnets on it, and you can put like your tapestry needle or stitch markers or your row counter if you have the magnetic one from Cocoa Knits. And I just think it's super great. I am about to knit another ranunculus. I'm going to cast it on tonight. That'll be my 4th one. Spoiler alert. So I just got that pattern all ready to go. But there it is. I really am excited about this. I know there's cheaper options of these out there, but I really like the brand Cocoa Knits, so I just splurged on that a bit. And I think that's everything. Felt like a lot. I feel like I could keep talking for a while. I'm really excited for November. I'm not planning on doing too many gift knits this year. Last November I spent so much time stressing over picking out yarn, ordering it, trying to get everything done for Christmas. I don't plan on doing that this year because it really stressed me out and it made me not enjoy knitting, and I just don't want to go through that again. I am making my kids a few things. My son has been asking for some very specific knitted items. I will be working on those, but they're not going to take much time. It's not like I'm going to be knitting something for every person in my family like I did last year. And I do want to sew a few things. And hopefully be getting a new sewing machine for Christmas. We'll see. That'll come later, but I'm really excited. We're heading up to the mountains in 2 days, and there is a yarn store up there that I'm really excited to go to. Our 5-year wedding anniversary was a few days ago, and my husband gave me some yarn money, so I'm really excited. I do have one more thing to talk about. I just remembered. I'm so glad. So my grandma asked me to knit her blanket, and I said no. I said I don't knit blankets. And then I was like, but there is this wrap that I really want to make. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called the Half and Half Triangle Wrap by Pearl Soho. And I was like, if you are interested in that one, I will knit it because I really want to use that yarn. And I've just heard it's a really great knit. So she bought the yarn for the Half and Half Triangle Wrap. She bought a nice blue color and a light blue color, and I'm going to cast it on this month. She said she wanted it for, there's this retreat she goes to, and I think it's in May, and she said she wanted it by May, so that's kind of like my end date because I know this is a long-term knit. And I was like, okay, I can have that done by May. And then she was like, well, it would be nice to have it, you know, because it's getting cold. And I was like, no, you don't understand, Grandma. This wrap takes like months to knit, so the goal is to have it done by May. I'm very excited to cast it on and just work with this yarn. The colors she chose are really beautiful. So I just caked that up yesterday so I can cast it on. And I'm going to knit a ranunculus for my mother's birthday. And it's just going to be really fun. But anyways, we're going up to the yarn store, so I'm excited to get a few things. I'm planning on doing a knit along with my friends. We are going to be knitting the Varpoo sweater. I've seen Kat from Heather and Hobbs talk about that one quite a lot, and we're currently trying to pick out our yarn, so I'm very excited for that. And just a lot of life stuff happening. My husband started a new job in the end of September. He's working from home, which is great, but it's definitely a weird adjustment that we're still getting used to. And my oldest is going to start preschool next week, which is very scary because he's never spent any time away from me. But all good things. I'm excited for the weather to start cooling down. It's definitely way too hot here for me. We're not big fans of the Arizona weather. Hopefully it can eventually get to sweater season. We had a really cold week in like the middle of October where it was like 60s, because that's very cold for us. And I was like, whoa, what is happening now? I'm so excited. Let's pull out all the knitwear. I put all their sweaters on the shelf so we could just grab them if they were cold, and then boom, it's 90 degrees again. So that's unfortunate, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, Thanksgiving is this month. My mom's birthday is this month. My best friend's birthday is this month. Lots of stuff going on, and I'm just very excited that summer is over. And Halloween was very stressful for me because this is the first year we've really gone trick-or-treating, and I have started making all of the plans for Christmas. I'm not typically a Christmas person, but I want my kids to have a lot of magical holiday memories when they get older, so we're working on that. But yeah, I think that's everything. I do have my Ravelry linked down below, and I also link my personal and my knitting Instagram. I'm not currently using social media. I don't have plans to use it anytime soon, other than maybe having my husband go on and like post a picture or two for me. But I just linked that down below in case you want to see some past posts. And that's everything. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will be back in a month to show you what November looked like. Hopefully I will have finished my mother's sweater, the stripy turtle tank, and multiple other things, because I always have a long list of knits and I don't usually get through things because I can't focus on something and then I end up casting on something I didn't even plan on knitting, like this sweater. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.